What's up there, people? How you doing? Hopefully you doing good. Hopefully you doing okay. Let's do it. Welcome to Famous Football. I'm your host, Nate. Let's talk football. Now I know why you're here. 5 reasons why Chelsea is gonna be dominating world football in the next 5 to 10 years or in the next decade, right? But before we get into all of that good stuff, how about you show me some love? Show this channel some love. Much appreciated. Thank you very much. Now let's get into it. Number one, the multi-club model, right? Now, it's not the case that Chelsea Blue Coat is the first to kind of come up with this system, or we already know Man City have their own multi-club model, right? They have a club in Spain as well, so we know it already do exist. But the reason why I mentioned that in regards to Chelsea, but the way Chelsea is doing it, I feel like they have taken it to another level or to another dimension. Now, I think with City, it's just like they invested in another club, pretty much. But it's like Chelsea, it's not so much that they just invested in another club or trying to gain money from another league as well. But it's more like it's all linked together. Right, it's all linked together. It's like now we see it that way. Chelsea being the top of it, and then you have other clubs at the bottom. Now it's mostly Strasbourg because it's the only club that they have acquired. Now they're looking to acquire other clubs in terms of like Santos as well. We know they're linked there. We also know there was linked with a club from the Portuguese league. Now I can't really remember the club, but there was one. So we know that this so like I said, Chelsea is doing it at a whole different I would say level. And it's not the case I'll say it haven't been done. I can't really say that, but it's like the way it's doing it. We saw the plan that they were trying to do. So acquire young players or get as many players as possible or invest into players. So that part of that investment was them buying players, and they were buying a whole bunch of them, especially that January window when they first took over. It's like they lost their mind. Right now, what this multi-club model does for them is like now they don't have to crowd Chelsea no more, or they don't have to crowd Cobham. Now the option is there for them to be able to do, buy those players and be able to dispatch them into different clubs or different leagues that they own. Right. So now we see that Blue Coat can now make signing. Now they even signed Insinso and send him over to Strasbourg. We know Kendrick Pies is at Strasbourg, and now it's like if one talent is doing something, if one player is doing something good in this league, now they can also send him to the other league and stuff like that. So it's like they don't just, the multi-club model is not just the case that is there to kind of help Chelsea in general, but it also helps like youngsters. So it's like if you're wondering why youngsters will want to sign for Chelsea, this is because of this is the reason. Because now this multi-club model helped them in terms of facilitating their growth. First of all, they link to Chelsea, that gave them exposure, right? That's one. Because even if they're signing for Strasbourg, they know that the possibility of them playing for Chelsea, which is one of the best teams in the world, is there. Right, so that kind of gave them the exposure. Because look at the players we signed recently, right? We signed one kid recently, I can't really remember from where, but now every one of us now looking up him. Now we're trying to follow him. Every single Chelsea fan, we following him. We all know he's not going to be playing for Chelsea at least in the next 2, 3, 4 years. Let's say not next 2, 3, 4 years, right? He's possibly going to be at Strasbourg. He's possibly going to be at Santos if we get Santos. But now what it does for the kid is that it gave him exposure. Now everybody eyes is on him, right? So it's like, it gave them that, possibility to be able to grow, right, and advance into their career. We're seeing that with Esteva, we're seeing that with other players. So it's like for the multi-club model, like I said, the owners can implement their ideas peacefully in terms of acquiring as many players as they want to. So now they don't have to, in a way, what's it called? They don't have a limit. Right, because maybe let's just say the limit of the amount of players that they can have as a certain club maybe is 30. So now they have like 3 different options in Chelsea, Strasbourg. If they get to have Santos, they have Santos. If they get the Brazilian clubs, they also have the Brazilian clubs as well. So now let's just say for now, if they have 3 different options, they have the possibility of signing or recruiting 90 players, right? And now mind you, the selling and all of that stuff is going on as well. So it kind of give, like I said, give them the possibility of implementing the ideas that they want to implement, right? Number 2, the investment in young players. Right? We all see that right now, right? From the beginning of it, none of us are on board. You, me, listen, be honest. You, me, every one of us, none of us were on board. And the reason being is that it's just like we Chelsea fan, under Roman, we are used to a certain type of thing, right? It's like now we're not having it the Roman way no more, right? So it's like it was more of a drastic change. It wasn't something that was, that was eased into, or the ideas or philosophy or whatever it was not necessarily, they didn't really ease into it, right? They just kind of, like I said, run into it, and now we are just like, wait a minute, what's going on? But we're seeing the recruitment of players, like the young players, and what they're doing with them, right? So it's not, at the moment, it's like it was more like a hit and miss, right? Like, even though, because they were just as long as it felt like, as long that they hear, okay, this one is good, they're going to go buy him. This one is good, is going to go buy him. Now we can see some sort of at least a bit of a structure after they hire the right people and employ the right people, because we know Chelsea have hired scouts, right? And in doing that, and we know they are data driven as well. So it's not just that they're looking at this, they're looking at the players, they're also looking at data and something like that, like, almost like an American sport that's, I don't know, almost 90% data driven, right? They look at stats, they look at everything, they talk about stats, they talk about whatever. And I think that's kind of like the path where Chelsea is taking. And we see players like Esteva, we see players like Kendrick Pius, or Quenda, all of them. Not these are just, if you Malo Gusto, all of them, Hato. We're seeing the recruitment of this player. So now it's not like, and it's like investing in this player now, right? It kind of helps them, especially getting them at an early age. That kind of put Chelsea ahead, right? So it's, and they, like I said, the players themselves also know that if they don't make it at Chelsea, they also have other top clubs to be able to make it at. Now you have Santos. I think that's appealing to most people if we get to have Santos, right? Finger crossed. We also have Strasbourg. Now they're playing some of the best football in Ligue 1 right now, and everyone can admit to that. So, like, feature talents, and I feel like they're getting them as early as possible. I remember when they went in for Esteva, I didn't think they should be going in for Esteva. I feel like it was more like a panic type of deal, because they couldn't get Hendrick, because I know Chelsea wanted Hendrick, but now we missed on Hendrick, and thank God we did, and we got Esteva. I feel like this investment will put Chelsea ahead in terms of, because they will recruit as many good players as possible. Because Todd Bowley says something, it's like, we don't just want to have a team of one Cole Palmer, we want to have a team of at least 2-3 Cole Palmers, we want to have a team of 2-3 Esteva, we want to have a team of 2-3 Cucurella, Jewish James, and I see them doing that because of the the recruitment they're making. It's like they're bringing young, energetic players as well, so that can compete, that kind of fit the way Chelsea is trying to play. So very energetic, very aggressive, quick transition, right? And all of that with pace. You can see that in the entire quick ball movement. You can see that in the current Chelsea squad, and the young players that they're bringing in or recruiting kind of fit that model as well. And they talk about the Swiss Army knife type of player, and you see that the way Esteva can play in 2-3 different positions. Not just Esteva, even Hato can play as a left center back, play as a left back, right? We're seeing that as well. And almost every single player at Chelsea right now can play in at least 2 different positions. 2. Now, maybe the only person we can think about not so much, maybe is possibly Jimmy Gittins, right? But I know Garnacho can possibly play as a false nine if we need him to play there, right? But so it's like that. We, like I said, definitely going to pull Chelsea ahead. And then number 3, the business model, business oriented, and I don't know, like I'll say, business. The owners are business oriented, and that it has its props as well. Now, because when they first came, we all look at them and said they didn't really care about the club. All they cared about was money, right? Now, if you look at it, maybe we see our view about that kind of shift a little bit, right? Because they invested, even though they were investing as much money as possible, right? Because when they had a contract with Roman, there was certain amount they had to invest into the club before they can think about selling the club or doing whatever. And I think that was about $1 billion or so. And they spent $1 billion in just one season. That was interesting. And now most people thought they were just trying to get that over the line. Now they can do whatever they want to do with the club. So they all thought that they didn't really care about the club. But honestly, that was that was contrary, not necessarily contrary. Now I can say for 100%, because they'd found a lot of loopholes in the things that they do in the league and whatever it is. Like now we're seeing other people kind of adapt to that as well. They're doing the exact same thing. So now they're not complaining no more because everybody's doing it. But like the wage structure, right? On the Roman, I don't think we actually did have a wage structure, right? But not the way they giving our players, so that, like I said, they invest in them young, they give them this long contract, like 30 years contract. So first of all, they go for a young player that's about 17, 18, and then they put him on like 25 to 30K a year, right? For 18 years old, that's a pretty good money. Not a year, but a week. That's a pretty good money. But then, excuse me, that money is like, they also know that, they give them this incentive-based contract. So if you perform well, there's a possibility, we can extend your contract and possibly give you good money as well. And then the other incentives within the contract as well. If you play in Champions League football, you get certain percentage of money. So now you see all this type of investment is smart. And then if it doesn't work out, right, and we're trying to get rid of you, it doesn't going to take that much, because now your wage structure is low, or your wage is low. So for another club to come in for you, they're not worried about how much they're going to pay you. Even you yourself at that point, you're not even going to be demanding much, because it's not working. You first of all on a low, let's say low wage, maybe about 30,000. So let's say another club like leaves, or so it's like it gives the possibility to even clubs that leave. So now it's not the case that only top clubs can come in for you. Now if top club come in for you, that's good, but to leagues and all these mid-table clubs can also come in to be able to and be able to afford your wage. So it's smart in that way. So it's that way. It's like the club inside doesn't feel stuck with a player, and the player is on the other hand don't feel stuck with the club. So it's like it's one of those. And another thing is like employment. They hiring the right people. Now they hire Joe Steele and it's like a couple other lads, right, responsible for other things in the club in terms of the transfer and all of that, right? They're doing what they're supposed to do. And then they have like a scouting team as well that's doing phenomenal. First of all, whoever scouted Esteva, yeah, and Quenda, let's see, who else can Cole Palmer, let's see. I know Cole Palmer is probably Joe Shields, but Esteva, yeah, let's see, give him a raise. Give that brother a raise. That's what I can say right now. Give him a raise. But you see what I'm saying? So it's like, the employment and all this cost, and they investing a lot into it. Like I said, they are driven. So then they have people all over, doing doing this scouting and things. I know on the road there was a lot of scouting going on, but now it's like with them, it's gone to the next level, because like I said, they're trying to recruit in as much youngster as possible. And now they're presenting a project to the Chelsea owner are presenting a project, right? To players that looks interesting. Absolutely do look interesting. So, and I'll say number 4, setting the trends, right? The reason why I said that is like now with all of these things happening, before other clubs start to follow, right, all these little things that Chelsea are doing that everybody was complaining about from the beginning. Now Chelsea will already be miles ahead, right? Because first of all, we went through that phase of absolutely disaster, right, and the calamity and everything, and now we entering that phase with what we're seeing balance, we're seeing structure, we're seeing proper football being played under Maresca, right? Even Maresca, when he was being brought in, listen, none of us was on it with Maresca, right? We were all looking at him and going, I was like, no, like I wasn't. Like it's recently, before my thoughts about Maresca, is starting to shift. I won't even tell you that it has shifted like 100%. It's just recently, like I'm getting along, or I'm getting on the train Maresca. But then I'll still reserving my Maresca out for later. But he's doing what he's supposed to do. Like kudos to the owner for that, for the recruitment. So it's that we know that the recruitment is not just okay, we have to get somebody and we'll get that. It's database. They're looking at you, they're looking at the data that you bring, they're looking at other things that you have to deal with, right? And now I can say I kind of trust it. And with them going in the direction that they're going in, I see them dominating world. I see Chelsea dominating world football in the next 5 to 10 years, right? Now, listen, we already won 2 trophies within this project, right? And this season we look like we're gonna win something again, at least for the form that we pick up later and the way we're playing against top team and top opponent. We're playing against not Man City, but Arsenal, Liverpool, Barcelona. These people, the performance that we are putting out with the quote-unquote young squad and young manager, right? It seems that Chelsea are heading in the right direction. Now Chelsea is that team, what's it called, when Thomas Tuchel say we will build a team that nobody wants to play, and I think this is the team that we're building right here. This is the squad that we built. Imagine we already have Esteva, and then there's the possibility of Kwanda coming in as well, right? So now you have Esteva, Kwanda, and Pedro Neto, all of them that could possibly play on that right hand side. You have way too many options, but those are good options. Those are definitely a good option. Kwanda and what's his name? Neto can fight for that. Esteva can move into the middle with Palmer if they need be, right? And we also see, and what Maresca is doing with the current squad, this thing is absolutely amazing, right? Like you can see player rotation. Pedro Neto playing as a force now. We saw that in the Burnley game for a little bit, and then in the I think Maresca tested that for a little bit. Then in the Barcelona game, we get to see him play as a force now, for a long time, right? And which is kind of good, right? And another thing I would say for the last one, number 5, is the financial power. They have the money. Clearly have the money, right? So with all of these things we're saying, if they didn't have the money, obviously none of it matter. We do have the money, right? We can go in for players, but now we're not just going in for players because you have what's it called? You made a name for yourself, right? We buy you, and then you have to make your own name. And so it's like the players and the money is there to be able to facilitate all these ideas. And I think is that when it comes to all being able to compete for a certain player, we can also compete in terms of finances. We have the money, and where Chelsea is also located kind of favor the owners as well. So in terms of revenue, right, I have no doubt they're gonna make money. With the way they're going, they're gonna make money. So it's not just that they're gonna be spending money, but they're also gonna be making money, because now you already have players like Palmer, Esteva, that people will want to watch, right? You bring in Konda, so you bringing in like franchise, quote unquote franchise players that is gonna give you, that's gonna bring you in money. It's like the Messi, the Ronaldos, right? Like that brings you money. And you already have that in Esteva, and you bring it in like with the performance Casado, Rhys James, Enzo Fernandez are putting in on a daily basis. If it Cucurella, right? You have this player that will be attracting people to the club, right? So in terms of money, they're gonna be making money. So that's the 5 reasons I think Chelsea is gonna be dominating world football for the next 5 to 10 years. Listen, I put them out there as one of the best already. Now, I'm a Chelsea fan, maybe you may say that's why. But looking at the way we're playing right now, like I said, the confidence that is in the squad. If you haven't watched my previous video, you can go check that out. That's like the way they're moving, the confidence, the trust that they're building, the squad, the staff, even all of that is like they're not in sync, they're in alliance in what is in what is to happen in what is happening. Listen, in this season, I won't rule Chelsea out of any single competition. The Champions League, I will put them up there. The Premier League, I will put them up there. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, listen, we can be class, we can win this thing. But hey, let me know your thoughts about it. This thing, what you think? What do you agree with? Is it the multi-club model? What do you have to say about that? The investment in young players, the business-oriented type of owner that we have. They're setting the trend as well, and the financial power that comes with that. So let me know your thoughts about that. Much appreciated. Thank you very much. See you later. Cheers.